Hi guys, so I'm going to talk real quick about the claims process and how to properly handle claims and incidents that take place with your cars. Sorry about all this. I'm in the midst of a huge Pakistani family wedding, so I promised one of my subscribers that I would put this video out today, so I'm going to try to get it done as quickly as I can. Okay, some really important things to know when you have a claim going on, and that's everything from actual physical damage to cleaning fees to smoking and just kind of all the little random stuff that happens in between all that. Now, of course, the first and foremost thing that is the most important is taking proper check-in and check-out photos. Regardless of what your guests do, whether they take photos or not upon checking in or checking out, that does not matter. Depending on whatever insurance coverage that you have, your photos are absolutely necessary. And I believe it has to be 6 or more photos, but you should be taking roughly around between 30 to 45 photos per check-in and per check-out. That will really document your car well. Now, one of the things that a lot of people run into issues with, that I used to run into issues with as well, was the clarity of your photos and properly documenting all angles of the car. Early on when I started Turo, I would mess up on that all the time. And it's just because I was still learning, right? So, I would go to file certain claims and they would come back and tell me, oh, your photos aren't clear, or that we can't clearly see what was previously there versus what is there now. So I learned over time on how to take really clear photos. Sorry, that's a creepy door closing behind me. Um, what I'm going to do is, to this video, I'm going to link a video that I made where it really details how to take proper photos of your car before and after every trip. So I'll go ahead and link that, and I'll walk you through exactly what photos that you need to take. But it's really easy for you to kind of think that you're taking the right photos and not really look at them because you're just uploading them to the reservation, and it's only until something happens where you realize, oh shoot, maybe those photos weren't as clear as I thought. So really aiming and shooting properly is really important, and good lighting is really important. You want to avoid things like glares, right? So that will help you properly document your car. Now, some of the rules in terms of taking photos is, one, obviously you need to have more than 6 pictures, which I just mentioned. 2 is making sure that you are taking photos right before the start of a trip and then right after the ending of a trip. Now, if you try to upload some old photos or photos that you took maybe just a little too late, like a couple of days later, it's not going to work because Turo does check the meta tags or the metadata on those photos. They use a program called, I think it's called Jeffrey's meta tag reader or something like that. You can see it online. It's super easy, quick internet upload. And it will tell them, the time, the location, the device that you use. So there's really no getting around that. So you just want to make sure you do the right thing, do it properly, and take the proper photos that are needed. Now, aside from that, now there's a lot of really random situations that can happen really at any given time. For example, somebody could just come and drop off the car, a couple of days in advance when that was not the scheduled return time. People can be way late, and sorry about that. So people can be way late and not return the car on time or within their reservation time frame. Now, every reservation has a 30-minute grace period. So if the renter brings back the car within 30 minutes of their reservation ending, then you're all good. Now, at the point in time when they are starting to run late, so say if their reservation ends at noon and now it is 5 past noon or 10 past noon, you do have to let them know in case they're going to be running a couple of hours late because they didn't extend their reservation. You do have to let them know that late fees will apply because Turo only allows for a 30-minute grace period. And you have to state that to them because that's the only way that you can collect on late fees. If you do not tell them that, then you cannot collect on that. Then the other thing that you want to do is report a late return. So one, you want to document it in your communication with your renters, so it's all within your reservation and Turo can see that you did inform them that the vehicle was not returned on time and that they need to return it immediately. And two, you have to let Turo know for coverage purposes. So the 30-minute grace period is covered, but anything past that 30 minutes, if you do not let Turo know, if you don't let support know and get that documented, then it technically falls out of its coverage, insurance coverage. So God forbid they get into an accident on the way back and they're running 5 hours late, you could potentially not be covered. But if you report the late return, then Turo will notate that on their end and your coverage will extend till whenever they bring back the car. Then if you have funky things happen, like somebody just decides out of the blue to bring the car back a few days before you had it scheduled and you're not available to go check out the car, or be there in person to check on the status of it, you do have to report this stuff to Turo right away, and you want to document it all in your messaging. I cannot stress that enough. Everything needs to be documented, and it's always safer to let Turo know what's going on versus not saying anything, because you just want to make sure you have that coverage. So in that scenario, if something happens, go ahead, give Turo a call, reach out to their emergency line or their customer support, let them know, hey, the car's been returned. I don't know what the condition of the car is because I'm not there, and this renter returned it without my knowledge. So in any of these sort of one-off weird situations that might happen and sometimes are out of your control, you just want to make sure that you have proper documentation and that you're reporting it to support right away, so that you never have to worry about, if you come home to a damaged vehicle, whether you're going to be covered or not. And then of course, please, please, please take those check-in and check-out photos so that you don't fall out of your coverage. This happens to so many people. It has happened to me early on when I didn't know, and now I know, so I always make sure that no matter what, that's a priority, because documenting that condition is so important. Now, one of the other things where people run into issues is cars that come back at night. So when you take photos at night, it's very hard to get good photos even with flash. So you want to make sure that you're in a well-lit area. If not, I see the Turo lot, they use this like big sort of portable light that they use when they're doing their walkarounds at night of the car, and it makes for good clear photos. So whatever it is, whether you have to get a light or just make sure that you're going to a well-lit area to take those pictures, that's important, because otherwise you might miss some damage. This happens all the time at nighttime. It's so much harder to see. You miss damage, and then when you see it in the morning, you realize there's damage, but it's not in your photos because you took them at night. You didn't have good lighting. So those are the main things when it comes to claims, is just documentation should be your first and foremost priority, always, no matter what, per the check-in and the check-out. Always, always, always never skim out on that, and make sure that you do a good job and check the quality of your photos and make sure you can see every angle of the car and you can see it clearly. Aside from that, when it comes to filing a claim, this is also very important. If there is damage, you have to get your claim filed within 24 hours after the reservation has ended. That is an absolute must. Otherwise, again, you'll fall out of your coverage if you report it later than that. So it has to be reported on time. So make sure you go to the reservation. There's a little thing, if you scroll to the very bottom of the reservation, that says get help. You can either click on that, or when you go to the request for reimbursement tool, there's also a thing there that says report damage, and just follow the process, get everything submitted in time. Even if you don't have the proper photos or you're not able to attach the photos, you just want to get the claim filed in time so that Turo can address it. And if you're missing anything, they will ask you for it after the fact. So just get that done within 24 hours after reservation ends, and that should make for a pretty seamless claims experience. In my experience, every claim that I've ever filed, as long as I've had the proper documentation, I've been fairly taken care of by Turo, and I've never had to come out of pocket in those instances. So proper documentation is so key, and timeliness is so key. And also, you just don't want to wait. You want to get this stuff squared away, get your cars repaired or cleaned or whatever it is that you're trying to file for. Don't wait the 24 hours and do it at the end. Get it done quickly, because it takes Turo a while as well to get back to you, to evaluate the claim, and get everything squared away, get the payments out. So time is of the essence, especially in this business. It's a business of days, and you want your car out on the market as many days as possible. So hope that is helpful for you guys. That's basically Claims 101. That's how you do it, and that will ensure a smooth process every time for sure. Leave your questions and comments below. Thanks for watching, guys. I'm off to a wedding, and I will see you guys soon. Mwah.